So yeah, we did that. We came back. We had some burgers, had some bagels, and then we came home. And it was a very nice day. It was a good day. Um, it was good seeing them. I have not seen them in quite a long time, so it was very nice to catch up with some friends. Um, I got Speaking of catching up with friends, so I was playing Dune last night. I've been sort of running around. I was doing some mission stuff. I was doing some gathering. And I come back and I'm putting stuff away in my chests. I'm sorting out my inventory. And I see movement out of the corner of my eye. And I'm like, what was that? And I look around. I don't see anything. I'm like, someone's in here. Which you're not supposed to be able to do. People aren't supposed to be able to get into my base. So I pull out my gun. I get my gun. And I'm going room by room and I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody. I check upstairs, I don't see anybody. And I come down, I check the garage, there's nobody in there. And I come back into the room and there is someone standing in the doorway. And I just empty my magazine to them. Just plug them full of darts. And nothing happened. And I'm like, all right. So I get closer. So a couple of days ago, I gave basically all my friends access to my house. So Coco and Boru, and I think one other person, and Mage all have the ability to enter my house whenever they wish and seek shelter from storms and the blistering sun. So apparently Mage had noticed a new base had miraculously appeared on their map and came to check it out and got a gut full of darts as a consequence. And that, chat, is why you knock before you enter. It's true. I have not named it because I haven't had to name it. But I will do something about that. I will go. I will go do something about that later. But yeah, it was actually the first time I had played with somebody in the game, and we went out and did a little bit of cobalt gathering. It was neat. I got brutally murdered by the Sardaukar, so I mean that part checks out, right? Yeah, you just go visit a friend's house because they said come by whenever, and you open the door and get people shotgunned. Yeah, I did not think they were gonna take me down that quickly. The shields are weird. The shields do not seem to... I guess they mitigate range damage, but they don't negate it. Which the NPCs do. So it's very strange. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, they took me down very quickly. It was very nasty. Thankfully, I had set my respawn point to the buggy so I could just pop right back up. I didn't even see a backpack to retrieve. It just put me right back up next to where I died, and I was like, neat. But yeah, aside from that one little hiccup, it was a very good gathering run. I hate that canyon though. There's a lot of really cool stuff in the canyon, but navigating around to it is a pain in the butt. Just because you have to like figure out where the up ramps are and where the down ramps are and where the bridges are and just kind of maze your way through it. It's a vertical maze. It's bullshit. But yeah, all in all, it's good. It's a very weird week for me because last week I was just like waking up before my alarm. I was just lying there like an hour before my alarm is supposed to go off. And I'm just like, what's happening? Okay, well, I guess I'm up, so I might as well get up. You know, have a nice breakfast, clock in early, so I can clock out early. And this week, it was just like, I almost slept through my alarm yesterday. Like, it was going off in my dreams, and I'm like, what is happening? I would like to get, can we like balance out those two energies? From my point of view, the whole thing was funny shit. I saw a base on the map, it showed my name out, and went, what the hell? And then you walked up to it and the doors open, you were like, where did this base come from? And then there's just a person behind you with a gun. Yeah, it was very weird, and I do wonder. So, in Star Citizen, every player has an instance personal hangar, right? And yes, it was very, we scared each other, but I was the one with the gun out. I take no solicitors very seriously, is the thing. So in Star Citizen, if an unauthorized player walks into your base, into your hangar, you can draw a gun and use it. They cannot. Which means if somebody walks into your hangar and tries to take your stuff, you can just shoot them. But they can't do anything in retaliation. That's kind of the security system that they have in place right now. And I don't know in Dune what would happen if somebody was able to infiltrate your base without permission. I don't know if they would get kicked out. Like, I know people can walk into your fiefdom, into like the cube of the base without any repercussions. But if they actually enter the building, I don't know. I don't know what that would do. And it's kind of hard to test, right? Because you can't really say like, hey, can you walk into my base so I can see if I can shoot you? I don't know many people are going to take you up on that offer. I suppose if you like paid them or something. I did see a video today, so apparently they're going to change up the structure of the endgame a little bit to allow for, what's the word? Allow for some more PvE oriented content. So like some parts of the deep desert are gonna be the mixed PvP that we see in most of the Haga Basin, right? It's not gonna be open PvP, it's gonna be that like in between. Ow, rude. Which is nice because I definitely want to go out and try the deep desert at some point, like once we get up to the end game, but at the same time, it being all PvP all the time feels a little much. Apparently they are going to be rebalancing stuff a little bit because right now the meta is basically all focused around scout ornithopters. The other ornithopters aren't seeing a lot of use, and pretty much anybody on the ground is screwed. So they want to rebalance things a little bit just to make it more of a, what they call it, combined arms, right? On foot, ground vehicles, and air vehicles working in tandem. Drew hardline some of the requests people were making for more PvE. I'm sure. I didn't see the full comment that they made, or the full discussion. I just saw a video sort of recapping some of it, but they were saying they were going to add some, or they were going to add, like, retool some of the deep desert stuff to be more PvP or PvE oriented, which I think is good. see if I can find what they said. Oh, here we go. Well, and it should be brutal, right? Like, the whole point is that Arrakis is a brutal place. Yeah, so some areas of the deep desert will now be flagged as partial warfare, PvE, while the deepest parts of the desert will remain as they currently are. So some of the areas will be partial, where players will be able to explore testing stations and harvest Tier 6 resources without the threat of conflict they don't want. It is important to note that the top tier of the game is balanced around guilds and groups, so you'll still find it grindy to play solo. Landsrat controls points, shipwrecks, and the largest spice fields will remain PvP flagged. PvP itself has plenty of issues that need to be addressed. We're taking steps in that direction with the first changes to Scout Ornithopters. Scout Ornithopters with rocket launchers attached will have maneuverability reduced. Rockets fired from Scout Ornithopters will have increased heat generation. Thrusters will provide a max speed bonus regardless of wings, ensuring that thruster-equipped scouts will be the fastest vehicles in the game. That makes sense. And a new Tier 5 infantry rocket launcher will be added to help improve the dynamics of vehicle and ground combat. So there will be more ways to deal with the Ornithopters, and the Ornithopters themselves won't be quite as powerful. Well, specifically the rocket-mounted Ornithopters. So, I don't know. I think it's good that they are seeing how things are playing out and seeing what people are saying and responding to it very quickly rather than just trying to, you know, be very bullish about, well, this is what we had in mind, so we're just going to keep doing that. Yeah, and I don't know. I think for the most part, and admittedly, I think with the deep desert, because it's an extraction shooter, for all intents and purposes, it makes sense. Is like, if they are not on your team and identified through that system, assume them to be an enemy. And keep, let's see. So they're also apparently going to be making some changes to the Landsrad activities, just so they don't feel quite so like fetch questy. We will keep adding endgame activities and more PvE content to the game going forward, both free and paid content in DLCs and expansions. It's very hard to tell. True. I mean, I suppose I haven't checked if there's any way to have name tags visible without approaching somebody. I would guess not. Again, I think that's part of the intended design of how do you respond to people. Because I see people driving by and running by all the time. But I'm in the Haga Basin, so I don't need to worry about it. Right? Because we can't really do anything to each other. I'm honestly not even sure what the mixed PvP is pointing at, right? Because it's like, I've never had an actual interaction with another player that was like aggressive or anything. I'm not sure what would flag it to be active PvP. The only thing I've seen is around the crash sites and the spice blooms. It flips over to being an open PvP zone. So I'm not sure what mixed means. I feel like the only other thing is like the green zones, where you're not even able to draw a weapon or use any abilities. Every player I've run across has tried shooting me. I did see one person try to shoot me. I was out to the north a little bit and I saw one person snipe me, but to be honest, I'm pretty sure they thought I was an NPC. Because they tried shooting me a couple of times. They tried sniping me and then I spotted them and sniped them back. And we both kind of realized that our bullets weren't doing anything, so I just left. It was like, all right. So I don't know. I don't mind it. I don't mind, you know, not having to watch my back everywhere I go. Ah yes, crouching and jumping are the universal language of all things MMO. Friendly, friendly! Why don't we get started on this this silly little drawing of a silly little goober. He's a Fortnite master. Hey Wolf, why do you come on my channel and spread these lies and deceptions? How do you think Mr. Information feels coming on here and spreading misinformation like that? Be nice to Mr. Information. He works hard. Hey, let's back it up. Let's back it up. I hope you're having a good weeknight. You should get your dinner. I think you should. I think it's getting late. You should get your dinner and enjoy a tasty, delicious dinner. One second. Do I still have the preview on? I do. I should turn that off, and I should turn you off. There we go. There we go. Use amazing hugs again with the misinformation. I also didn't eat mate. Mate! I had a chicken dinner. That's not breakfast. That's not how breakfast works. What are you doing? Most people not taking care of themselves. Good lordy. Completing the first thing the video. You gotta eat! You gotta eat, my dude. You can't function if you don't eat. I was thinking earlier, I really need to talk to a therapist, but I suppose you guys will have to do in the meantime. That was a joke. I'm not gonna make you do that. Twitch chat is not a licensed therapist. Oh, that's part of the paint over? Why? Why are you like this? Oh, I think it's because I merged it together. Yeah, because I was moving the head around, that's right. Very good. Hello, Sonic. Happy Choomsday. I hope you're doing well. I finally got around to finishing the Book of Boba Fett last night. I realized I only had 3 episodes left to watch on it. That's a very loud plane. I was just like, yeah, fine. It was fine. It was fine. It was a little overly goofy in a lot of places. I've heard there's a heat wave going around. Stay hydrated, Machum. I shall. You as likewise. You guys, drink water, juice, soda. I don't care. Drink it right now. Ooh. That's a pretty good tea.
You're watching this video sitting down. I'm gonna need you to fix your fucking posture, you croissant-looking letter C crescent moon ass scoliosis motherfucker. Fix your spine! Damn!
My spine, much like my brain, is beyond help. Hello, Looney. Happy Choomsday. How you doing? Welcome in. I hope you're having a good week. Good week so far. Mostly just sort of looking to clean this up today. I feel like we finally got everything into like a good, I guess we might say, starting point. So now we can start going around and adding some finer details to stuff. Go. No. No, there is not. It's not really the vibe that I want to go for. Cuff is really fucked up, but what I'm noticing, what I don't like right now, is how much these two sleeves are tangenting together. So I gotta figure out a fix for that. What's gonna work there? 1 second. There we go. What's gonna work here? See, I feel like this is in a pretty good spot. Maybe what we can do... Okay, so you can get rid of that. Maybe just add a little bit of a knockdown right here. Just so there's like a silhouette break, right? And if we come back up here, we can sort of widen this out like this. Yeah, just I think a little bit less of like a straight line along here will help that out a little bit. If we sort of give it a bit more thick to thin, right? Make the sleeves a little bit wider. And then just break up the lighting along here somewhat as well, right? And sort of does this weird like thing where the folds are wrapping around and then it just stops at a line here, which is peculiar to say the least. There we go. I meant to check. So most likely, we are going to start Horizon this week. On Saturday, we're going to start playing Horizon Zero Dawn. I saw Steam has a midweek deal for Forbidden West. It's like $35, I think. I saw them post that and I'm like, yeah, I'll probably just go ahead and buy it. I'll probably just buy it there because it might be on sale during the summer sale, but I don't know that it's going to be a better deal than that. I don't feel like, because I think it's 40%. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I can work with that. That's not gonna break the bank. I can live with 35. At a certain point, it's just better to have it and be ready. What I really need to do is get another hard drive just to put all my Steam games on, because my program drive, my software drive, which includes Steam, is full. So even if I buy Forbidden West, I don't have anywhere to put it right now, which is less than ideal. So I gotta figure that part out. Oh, there's the thing I want to do with the eyes. What I want to do with the eyes? I think I just want to round them out a little bit more. There we go. Little details. I didn't make a list. I wrote down an actual proper list of the games that I had planned to play on stream. So I do want to consult that before we 100% lock in, because once we start Horizon, we're going to be there for a while. But I also feel like it's a good time. It's a good time. It's a good game. So why not? I was also trying to think about Halloween outfits, because we're getting to the point where I know it feels like a long way away, and it technically is, but it's like I need to get started working on that outfit soon so that it will be ready for the start of October. Right? I would rather start it now or start it very soon so that I'm not rushing on it. And I can take my time and make it the way that I want it, really make it, as high quality as I can. Whereas if I wait until September, I'm going to be rushing the whole thing and I'm not going to be able to bug test it and get it to perform as well as I would like. But I haven't figured out who I want to do yet. I haven't figured out who this year's costume should be. And I can't just use last year's costume. That would be lazy and boring. As much as it was a good costume. There we go. So yes, lots to look forward to. Look forward to and work on. Always something to do. There we go. Okay, and then I would like to make a cast shadow. It's gonna go right through here. I'm gonna sort of paint it yellow through the middle, right? Sort of like that. New choice of a family is getting forgetful tonight. The second time they left the window and screen open. Cats are still inside, but they're gonna have some flying bugs. Oh boy. And the cats are like, well, I see this as an absolute win. I don't understand what the problem is. Here we go. Don't do that. Stop doing that, please. There we go. Let's clean up this table a little bit. The hazy look isn't bad, but I prefer it to be clean. There we go. What does overlay make that look like? Oh, because the... Excuse me. It's kind of interesting, actually. Yeah, I strangely don't hate that. It's not, like, correct, but it's interesting. What if we made it brighter? Okay, that doesn't quite work. Like, it's not, again, it's not bad. It's just weird. It's interesting. But it's not good. But it's not bad. But it's not good. So we're just gonna knock it back. Okay. There we go. That's pretty good. Okay, what's still fucky in here? This part is still fucky. There we go. What are we dealing with here? Something from the character is weird. I'm not sure how we got a little thing of red down there, but whatever. Go. I did take a photo while I was out on the hike that I saw that I was like, shit, that's a really good composition. I want to use that. I want to do a paint over that. So I don't know if that'll be just something that I kind of do on my own time. I don't think it's going to be necessarily a stream drawing, but I definitely do want to try that out at some point. I was like, yeah, that would be it's one of those natural, beautiful moments, and it's just like, I want to use that. I want to go to there. Except I was already there. And this is like I was saying, sometimes you gotta find new moments, right? You gotta, if you're feeling like you're stuck, you're having trouble being creative, everything just kind of feels the same, feels tired, feels worn out, it's like, it's a sign to go do something else. Either to, sort of take your mind off things, or to broaden your library of experiences to have more to draw from. It doesn't have to be a complete like reinvention or anything, but just go do something. I saw, speaking of going on adventures, I saw Offkai was this past weekend. Obviously, I was not there. I was here, as well as hanging out with. I was not at Offkai. But it seemed like people were having a good time, aside from the part that made everybody kind of question what the hell we were doing. For context, anyone that isn't terminally online and connected into things, there were reports coming from Offkai that, you know, they were having like evening parties, after parties, stuff like that, event parties, and people were getting turned away for poor hygiene, shall we put it. Which is just like fair, but also, how did we get to this point? Well, let me grab my reference really quickly. I feel really bad for all the security that had to deal with that. You're just like, yep, this is my life, this is my job, this is what I get paid for. I saw one person posted a picture that they had put together like mini bars of deodorant with Mint's face on it. So they were selling Mint themed deodorant. It's like, it's VTuber themed. You have no excuse anymore. And you know what? That is seeing an opportunity and running with it. I respect that. I respect the hustle. But yeah, despite that, it seemed like people had a good time with it. I hope they did. Never been to Offkai myself, but it seems neat. There we go. feeling like we should knock this down a little bit farther, but I don't know, at the same time, it's like, you know, we don't really want the shadows to get too deep. So maybe just kind of doing like a half tone of the green. Something like that, just so it's less noticeable. There we go. That's pretty nice. Oh, and then this part got all cut up. Ooh. Good. I'm not even sure what this is. I don't know what happened up here. What this was supposed to be, what it was doing. It's okay. We'll just ride it out. Go. Okay. Oh, what am I forgetting? What am I not doing? I'm sure it's something. Oh, the freaking cuff. Again. I mean, that's definitely part of it. Alright. There we go. Hmm. I know, I'm making all these thinking sounds. It's like, what am I actually thinking about? I go, oh. I guess I'm mostly just trying to polish up the ideas here as best I can. I've been getting kind of in my own head over the last few days. Not in a good way. Very sort of spirally way. I think I really need to see somebody. We all probably do. That's true. That's very true. Humans are very sociable creatures. And certainly it's going to vary from person to person, but having people to talk stuff out with, walk through things with, is generally a better mode than isolation. It tends to help things out. That or you become some kind of auteur. End up making a weird game involving sperm whales. I suppose that's one way to work through your issues. if you're actually working through your issues at that point or just making them everyone else's issues, but you're still working with them. During... yeah, especially the stuff that you were crafting to get the buggy, like the gain rate on iron and copper and rock and granite is just, it's stupid. It's so good. Plus you don't even need to scan them. You can just punch a hole in them and get more than you were getting by hand. It's a total game changer. I still haven't found the aluminum. I know you were mentioning that before. I could look it up, but frankly I kind of want to play the game, you know? I want to get on my bike and, you know, explore some more of the areas, map them with the survey probe, and see if I can find the aluminum the old-fashioned way. And then if that doesn't work, I'll go look it up. I see so many videos because I'm trying to find like good, clear images of what the different vehicle skins and whatnot are, right? So like there are a couple of different house skins you can get and what and such for like the ornithopter and the buggy and the bikes. I've been trying to find images of those just to have an idea of which one I want to get. And I see so many videos of, you know, how to get the buggy fast, how to get the ornithopter fast. I'm like, I'm not trying to speed run the game. I just want to play it. Exactly. Go out with a booster and get that speed going. Try and scout it all in a day or two and then come back once you've mapped out some locations. It's a good strategy. Have it stare you down. How can the worm stare you down? It don't got no eyes. It knows. Actually, I mean, they have the spice. They might know. They might have some measure of prescience. God, if the sandworms had prescience, you would like take 2 steps onto the sand, immediately get eaten because they just knew you were gonna be there. I don't think I mentioned at one point I was coming back from a mission. I was on my bike and I misread the map or something because I get out onto the open sand and I just hear this. How do I describe it? It's like more percussive, but you know that sound when people like warble sheet metal and it goes like whoop, 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 whoop. Imagine that, but like more percussive and way deeper. That's the sound the drum sand makes when you go out on it with a bike. So I'm just like going across. I thought I was sort of skirting it, but I misread the map and I just went right over the drum sand. And for like a solid 15 seconds was just like booking it as fast as I could to get it off. And a sandworm was like, shut the fuck up, and started running at me. I was like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Oh yeah, the worms freaking love. I was like, I had my binoculars out, I was looking out over a ledge and I saw a crashed ship out in the sand. I was like, oh, that's interesting. It kind of makes sense. Like ships get downed and then they become lootable sites. Maybe that's a PvP thing. That's really neat. And the worm was like, yeah, it is. And just came up and chomped the whole thing. And I was like, okay. Didn't know cheesy. Don't we all? Don't we all have a Neko side? It's just one of those days. Lay in the sun.
Bruh.
That was loud. I heard a long time ago, and it was a silly little thing, but I heard, you know, cat people tend to be more dog-like in personality, and dog people tend to be more cat-like. I was like, I think there's something there. I think there's some merit to that comparison. So I am dog-like. I'd say there's some merit to that. You can't argue it. You see? See? You hear it and you're like, I don't know if that's true. And then you kind of think about it. You think about examples of people you know and yourself, and you're like, okay, wait, hang on. There we go. One benefit, I think, of getting through some of this work faster, right? Being able to sort of go through the process more quickly is it also gives us more time to really sort of sit and massage the work and get it into a place that we're happier with. Right? We can spend more within the same period of time sort of working on the parts that we really want to work on. Good. Doesn't make sense why I don't like myself sometimes. I don't like myself either, I get that. I think that's the human part. I don't know if I would put that on dogs or cats. I feel like I hear that a lot, that people have like a bad experience with a dog and they don't like dogs since that point. It's like, not fair to blame all dogs for one bad dog. I mean, I've gotten bit by a cat once. I don't hate all cats. I suppose when the cat was not bigger than me, so that is a different experience, that's fair. Yeah, phobias were rational, we wouldn't have them. Or at least they wouldn't be called phobias. I don't know, by that, if a phobia of like the open ocean, I feel like there's a rationale to being afraid of the open ocean. The heck is that? What? What am I looking at? That's confusing. This is weird. Whatever, let's just paint it. Paint it and... Okay, where's the aspect of a couple phobias and each of the pieces makes sense? Yeah! Like, I don't have a phobia of the ocean. I like the ocean. I think the ocean is very cool. But I'm also very much aware of how dangerous it is. And I'm like, I don't know that I really want to, you know, go out on the ocean. If that's going to be how it is. If push comes to shove, I would rather be in an environment I have a little more control over. Thank you very much. Possible scale water, exactly. Which, okay, the water one's a little bit weird, but also I get it. It depends on the amount of water, right? It's not the water itself, it's how much there is. Though it's super weird to me that, you know, the same people are like, oh no, I don't fuck with the ocean. That's crazy. That's nastiness. That's 100% danger, hostile environment. It's like, fuck yeah, let's go to space. Maybe it's because space is just so foreign of a concept to most people that it's just like how it doesn't even compute as being the same sort of environment. I don't know. It's weird. Brains are weird. Humanity, what's going on with these brain things? I don't know about them. They're funky. know though, like, if I were given the opportunity, would I go to space? Probably. It depends a little bit on who's offering, but I'd probably still go. I'm fine with my feet on the ground. Honestly, fair. Meanwhile, space is like, if you think you're safe on the ground, I have surprises for you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to turn this into the phobia stream. It just kind of happened that way. Maybe it's because I'm trying to draw cloth folds. Since a shark space has black holes, you can get eaten on either. And both of them, coincidentally, are not nearly as dangerous as people think they are. I think, is it the tiger shark? I think it's the tiger shark. Is like remarkably friendly. And honestly just kind of likes getting pet by divers. So they'll come up to you, but they're just kind of like, friend? I think it's really just the great whites that are like aggressively carnivorous. Maybe a couple others. But it's not like a universal thing of every shark is just gonna kill you and eat you on sight. True, space does have a... I don't know, I feel like space is just so hard to comprehend. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's what sets it off for most people. It's just like there is no way to like properly understand it, even if you've been up into space, to understand like the vastness and complexity of it. Certainly doesn't help. It does not help. No, no, no. Put a little bit of rim light on this chair support, just to separate it a little bit from its background. There you go. The scale all can't be handled. True. But isn't that part of the allure? The sense that there will always be something else to figure out. Some greater mystery that still needs to be unraveled. The final frontier, so to speak. There we go. What is all this? Kaiga, what are you doing down here? Being so sloppy. Making a mess. There we go. Let's brighten this table up a little bit. Good. What the fuck? Well, if the article people before, if they could live forever, what would they do with it? Most people said they wouldn't take it because they are constantly leaving things people behind would be too much. I'd like to just watch things develop, how we change and what we do. Oh yes, the free window. No. Yeah, and it is hard, I think, to have a sort of set answer on that, because yeah, it would be a fundamentally different experience to what humans are used to having. And for some people, yeah, it's too foreign. It is too other. And they don't want it. Which is understandable. But the curiosity would be very fascinating. Yes. It is a lot of question. It's true. Stupid fucking thing everywhere all the time. There we go. No, I don't think it's a right or wrong answer. It's more one of those like philosophical debates that says more. It's more about insight into the answer than about the ethics or efficacy. Is efficacy the right word? A right or wrong answer. Ow. Trying to pin everything as being right or wrong is a very internet argument thing to do. Yeah, those bears. I'll tell you what, that is absolutely a, you know, you're always afraid of like going out on the ocean, because what if you get stranded? What if a shark eats you? What if a squid grabs you? Mermaid makes you her wife. So you're like, I'm just gonna stay home on land where it's nice and safe, and then suddenly a bear flies through your window and that's it. And you're just like, well, shit. Hardly seems fair. Give me 1 second. I'm realizing something about the background that is bothering me a touch. Yep. Yep. Table's too short. Well, that's cool. They canceled recess and after school because the bear mother and cubs were climbed a tree out in the playground. Oh yeah, no, at that point, send everyone home. Just let the bears do their thing. Yeah, a lot of bears are pretty shy, pretty skittish. They're not looking for a fight most of the time, right? They're not necessarily going to be friendly, but they're not, you know, godless murder machines. Unless they perceive you as a threat to their cubs, in which case you die. You die very, very quickly, but still very painfully. Alright, it's a little bit wobbly, but I feel like it's closer. When we were coming back from the hike, there was a moss-covered boulder that out of the corner of my eye, it had like the silhouette of a bear walking, and I just had this like brief fight or flight moment of like, oh shit, no. Yes, if you see the cub, but you don't see the parent is close by, and they are watching you, so just very carefully and calmly, but quickly, leave. Do not start towards the cub. Do not take a selfie. Do not take a selfie with the bear cub. There we go. Alright, now we're cooking. Now we're somewhere. If fact the part even needs to be said. I know. I know. So if I wanted to be overly generous, you know, I can appreciate the value of capturing experiences and preserving them for later. And seeing a bear cub is a very unique experience. However, it is more valuable to be alive to remember the experiences. Oh, you mean when I saw the rock? Yes. I mean, it was only like a half second. But there was definitely a brief moment of like, uh-oh. We're in danger. There we go. That's a better looking table. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Yeah, thankfully we saw a chipmunk and we saw a family of ducks. It was very cute. The ducks, like, I don't know why they were so young. Normally the ducks they hatch earlier in the year, but these guys still had their like baby down. The mother duck was very like very vocal. But you know, we kept a respectful distance, took a couple of photos, left them to themselves. They went back out in the water. But yes, no bears, no wildcats, thankfully. There were a couple of trees. There were a couple of places. Earlier in the year, we had a bomb cyclone hit the state, and I don't know if it got as far north as where we were hiking. It must have, because there were a couple of trees that had gotten knocked down, and a few of them had fallen over the path. There was one that thankfully just like narrowly missed a bridge that we had to use to cross a river. And like if it had been a couple degrees to the right, it probably would have taken the bridge out, and I don't know if they would have repaired it by now. It might have turned into a very short-lived hike. But it did, you know, come down on the path such that they had to cut part of it away so that you could easily get underneath it. Yeah, where I grew up, we didn't have a ton of it. We did have mountain lions. We had mountain lions to worry about. We didn't really have bears, I don't think. That was not a concern. Around here, there definitely are. They tend to stay up in the mountains. But there is a possibility, non-zero chance. One could make their way downtown, lumbering fast. Trash cans pass. I'm gonna hide this, we don't need it anymore. Foxes, coyotes. We did have coyotes, I think. Yeah, never so often you'd see a news story of a mountain lion or a bobcat getting lost in one of the cities in the area, and they have to trank it and take it home. Poor fella's just getting very confused, me like, where the fuck am I? What is happening? One time picture floated around looking when a woman took a suspiciously large cat and put it in a cage. And everyone's just like, ma'am. What you got there, miss? A smoothie. Oh, see, she's in her 70s. She gives 0 fucks, is how. And the wildcat respected that. Respect the hustle. Game recognized game, as they say. Trying to decide what we're gonna work on next. I have a drawing in mind and we might jump into that one. I just thought it was a stray. I was scared. That's one messed up cat. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that she was able to get it into a cage at that point. That's kind of impressive on its own. So are the rest of us. Yeah, the animal control is like, ma'am, do you need a job? Did anyone check to see if she was a druid? Any enchanted speak with animals objects? Thank you for the reminder. Let's see. This is a very little detail, but I want to go up here. Oh, we got some fussiness to deal with. Look at all this. So sloppy. Who did this? Time lapse. Yes, it is still on. I have gotten better about remembering it. There's still a substantial chance that I will forget at some point, but I've gotten better. I know, I'm trying. I try all the time. In this institution. I just did it for the rolls. I know. Well, to be fair, save isn't a command either. I just saw it and was like, oh yeah. That's a good idea. go. A little bit of cast shadow back here. There we go. Let's clean the shape up a little bit. Alright, that's looking better. I'm gonna add a little bit of Fresnel right along here, just to help accentuate the planes. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty. Oh yeah. A little bit of backlighting. A little bit of green coming in from there. Oh, the original thing that I wanted to do was add a light bulb in here, which I got completely distracted by because of the everything else. Ain't that just the way? Ain't that just the way? Okay. Before we get any farther, I was planning to basically save this for the end, but I think it'll be good to sort of mess with the light rays and start to get them feeling a little bit better now and see if we can sort of figure it out. Plus, I will finally show you guys my plan for how I was gonna make this a Pride Month art piece. That kind of sussy sound that sounds sussy. The fuck is all this? Alright, give me a couple minutes to clean this up and then we'll go play around with light rays. Gonna have to figure that out. Originally I wanted this to be connected, and I think we're just gonna go ahead and separate the two from each other. And sort of build that out. Good. We got more to deal with. Whatever. We'll leave it for now. Leave it for now. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Alright. Let's figure this out. So there's a couple of things that I want to do with these, right? I think for one, putting them all on full blast is it's a little much. It's a little much. Plus, there's a few like right here, right? They're not playing super well with each other. We need to mask a few of them out so that they actually follow some of the shapes better. So let's turn them all off so we can work on them one at a time. So I'm just gonna start numbering these left to right. Six, 7, 8. So yeah, like this guy should probably be masked out so that it's not coming over the chairs like this, right? Maybe mask it out so that it's not falling under the table either. It's not really making a ton of sense to do that. So yeah, I think like that. Good. Let's take number 2. So we need to block it so that it's not follows the archway like so. And it sort of falls off like that. Falls off the halo. And then doesn't come over the shoulder. Or the chair. Good. Right. And then 3. Or no. Wait, did I just erase it? God, I think I did. Alright, that's fine. That's fine. I don't care. I thought I was masking it, but I did not. Oops. Okay, so then yeah, that goes like that. And we can soften this up a little bit right around the hair. It kind of makes sense to have a little bounce, right? Maybe like that. And then 4 is still behind Kaiga and their table, so we'll put you like so. I think we'll kind of go like that, right? So we'll get a little bit of light coming through the glass. It kind of gives a nice sort of appearance of bouncing through the table, so I appreciate that. Appreciate that little unintended detail. Good. Where's my mouse? There you are. And then 5. Oh, let's check 4. Yeah, 4 has a little bit too much going on up top as well. 3 looks good in that department, but 4, you just need to crop a little bit off the top here so that it fits inside the window better. Good. 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 Alright, so now back to 5. So I'm just gonna sort of mask out. No, that's not what I wanted you to do. God damn it. Honestly, that looks pretty good. I'm just gonna make sure that it's not affecting the lamp. Maybe a little bit extra Masking out right through there like that. Good. Then 6. Oh, wait, is 5? No, 5 falls just shy of the chair. So 6 needs to be masked out like so. And then 7 is fine where it is, except that I want to mask it off of this part. I think 8 will probably get the same treatment. Yeah. Yeah, let's just mask it off of the chair here. So I can kind of come in underneath it. That's a nice look. Okay, so with all of that said and done, if we turn them all back on, how does that look? Honestly, that by itself looks nice. I think that's good. Right? The funny thing is, I almost want to put more light onto the character. It feels like not enough of it is reaching them. So I'll mess with that in a second. But I definitely like how it's feeling so far. So what is my next thing? So we're gonna neutralize, and then we're gonna come in here. We're gonna set this, and we're gonna set this to be a color. Let's try leaving. I'm pretty sure this is going to be too powerful, too intense, but we'll leave it and see how it looks. So then you are going to be yellow. You are going to be green. You are going to be a light blue. You are going to be a royal blue. And you are going to be violet. Okay. Honestly, I feel like with the color balancing, it kinda, or with the adjustment to the light rays, the masking out and everything, I feel like this is working pretty well. When I was messing with it before, it felt a little bit like too intense. But I think a lot of it was just the way that they were like overlapping each other was too strong. It was becoming very noisy. We weren't getting a very clear read of the image. Switching them over to color, I like it. It feels like it's definitely softer, right? It's more balanced. I think where part of the problem arises is in some of them, like the yellow and even the green a little bit. Like the colors harmonize in such a way that those become really strong and the others become a lot weaker. So let's try doing this. If we set you back to normal, And then we drop you to like 50%. And maybe this one will even drop it a little bit. Yeah, see, I feel like the natural color of the light is such that it already kind of does the job that I want it to do. So like this one can be 50%. The green, I think the green's doing fine on its own. It doesn't really need reworking, right? And then yeah, the cyan. Let's pull the ray down a little bit. It's not quite filling out its window. Same for the green. And then the blue is going to be way too dark, but we can knock that to like 40%, 50%. Yeah. And then the purple, set that to normal 40%. Let's go 30. There we go. Yeah, I feel like all those are sitting pretty well. Now, can I... What I'm curious about is if I blur these, I feel like blurring the light rays a little bit. Now, of course, I can't blur them all at once. That would be too convenient. That would be too convenient. Yeah, let's try like a 25 on each of these and see what it looks like. There we go. No, that's not what I said. There we go. Okay, and then while we're in here, let's just come in and clean up the masking a little bit, right? We got a few areas where it's being a little funky, a little silly. So we're just gonna come in here like that. Come in here like that. Funny enough, now that we have the color, we can actually see a bit more clearly areas that it is oversaturating. Knock it down a bit. We'll let it wrap around the edges in a few places. That looks kind of nice. And then blue needs its blur. And we got indigo. No, that's not what I meant to do. And last one. There we go. Nice. I like that. I think that's really cool. Okay, so one more thing. I'm gonna try adding in, where's my glass brush? There you are. We're gonna try adding in some dust and see how this looks. Okay. Don't want to overdo it, right? But we're kind of not getting the right effect yet. So I'll try using this brush instead. You can switch back and forth and use a little bit of the glass just to get some irregular shapes in there as well. Right? Break it up a little bit. Not rely entirely on a single brush to do all the work. Move it in a couple of places like that. So, now what I'm going to do is we're going to duplicate the light ray group, which apparently Clip Studio is not super happy about. And then merge it. And by clipping it onto our dust motes, we can get the colors bouncing onto that. And we'll set this to maybe an overlay. Color dodge. Glow dodge. There we go. And then reduce the opacity. So now they're sort of supporting the color, right? They're adding a little bit of breakup, a little bit of pop. A little bit of variety. I think I overdid it a bit. You can knock it down in a few places. Just more sort of something that you pick up on, right? Rather than something that's like overwhelming the entire scene. It's like cologne. It's something that you should discover, not something that should be announced. There we go. I think now that we don't have as much of it, I'm more okay increasing the brightness so that they are more noticeable. I think before we just had so much of it going on that it was like overwhelming. But if we cut down on the frequency, I think it's more okay to have it really be like a little popping mode of brightness and energy. Cool. All right. I want to do one more thing. Just to kind of see what we can do. So I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to take this out of the group so that we can kind of mess with it more independently, right? So I want this one. We're going to disable the mask. And I want to attach it specifically to our character. Is it because of that? Yes, it is. Okay. So we'll do that, and then we're gonna grab this, and we're gonna attach it right here. Why are you like that? Oh. Oh, interesting. Okay. That kind of makes sense. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's annoying, but I get it. Yeah, because see, it's like that. Okay. We can fix that. If we take the Painterly blender, we should be able to just sort of drag it down like that and fill things in. Okay. Apparently there was some stuff that I drew in the characters paint over that should have been in the background paint over. Not a big deal. Easy to fix that. I'm just trying to think, how do we get this to sit in the way that we actually want it to? Overlay? I think overlay might be the play. Because if we set it to color, that's too much. That's silly looking. Could also set it to a soft light. That plays okay. Reduce the opacity of it for sure, but good. Okay, and then we have the coloring that's going like that. I think I'll add a little bit of a mask just so that it, you know, has some fall off. Feels a little bit more integrated and not quite so absolute, right? Just a smidge, just a hair. Now the other thing is just that we have the stuff up here that's in the wrong layer. I gotta go find it. That should be down here. Yeah, so essentially we have sort of our normal casual version, right? Which is just gonna have the normal light rays. And we can double check sort of how those are looking with the color subtracted. I think that looks nice. We have the dust motes, and then we have the character. And then we'll have our Pride version, where everything is more colorful. I know, it feels a little cheaty, a little scummy to have two versions. Aww, Knight, thank you for the raid. That's very kind of you. Welcome in, Raiders. Everyone say hello. Everyone say hello to the Raiders right now. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Choomsday Kaiga. I'm a Jupiter brain cell VTuber. I crashed on Earth a long time ago, and now I'm chilling with the Chooms and making art and playing games and just having a good time of it. How are y'all doing? Let me give you a shout out really nice. Well, I hope your Raiders are prepared for disappointment. How was Farming Simulator? How was your stream? What were you doing? But yes, Knight, if you need to go get some rest, clean up, get something to eat, do all that post-stream care, you or your raiders, please, you are welcome to, but you are also welcome to hang out and chill and watch. Where honestly, we're getting really close to being done with this art. I think I'm just kind of having fun nitpicking with it, polishing it up as best I can. But it's getting there. It's getting there. I'm realizing I might have done a thing that I'm gonna have to clean up later, but it's not a big deal. So yeah, the light rays, I think, have come in very nicely. I'm very happy with that. It almost looks cloudy by comparison without them. Like it's a clouded over day, which admittedly for the Pacific Northwest is accurate. That is on brand for this area. Okay, what do I want to do next? I'm glad you had fun. I have never really gotten into the farming sim games. I see a lot of people are very passionate about them though. It does feel like it sort of sneaks its way into a bunch of other games. Like any sort of survival games or open world games, like you're almost bound to have a little bit of farming somewhere in there. What did I want to clean up? There was something that I was looking at that was like, why are you here? Why are you like this? Oh, I never got around to adding those freaking light bulbs. So let's do that. There we go. And by light bulbs, I guess I mean one light bulb, because there's not really any visibility on the other one. So that's okay. But yes, for the Raiders, I do not play Fortnite. I don't know what stories you have been told. I am an Unreal developer. Not like officially, I just use Unreal for my own projects. We are going to be playing some Horizon Zero Dawn. We're going to be starting a new game this weekend. If that does so intrigue. That's the plan anyway. I'm gonna double check the list, but I'm 99% sure we're gonna go ahead and send that. And then I believe next week is the release of Mecha Break. I believe that's coming out on Tuesday. So assuming that the game does release as planned and the servers don't explode or anything, we're gonna be playing that on Tuesday. I'm excited. I'm hopeful. I would guess, at the very least, we're gonna get a couple weeks of good fun out of it. I think sort of the main concern that I have, and I'm gonna go ahead and project and say a fair amount of the people that, you know, played the test sessions, I feel like the main concern that a lot of them had was sort of, what is the progression gonna look like? How grindy is it gonna be? You know, how much are the mods gonna sort of inhibit gameplay and require you to play the extraction mode. Thank you, Knight. Some of that is true. Some of that is true. Some of it is hearsay, shall we say. And some of it is popular opinion that I will acquiesce to. But yeah, I am optimistic. I'm hopeful. I want to be hopeful about Mecha Break. I want to be hopeful that the devs are listening and are going to respond and have improved the game based on what people have said. How dare! It was a 1 in 3 chance and you chose poorly. Thank you.
If you're watching this video sitting down, I'm gonna need you to fix your fucking posture, you croissant-looking letter C, crescent moon ass, scoliosis motherfucker. Fix your spine! Damn!
My posture honestly hasn't been that bad. Stars, welcome in. Hello. Happy Choomsday. I hope you're having a good week so far. Hope your weekend was nice. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing? Anya? No. Who's that? Oh, it is Anya. Oh, it's so cute. My posture was terrible. I appreciate that Ivy has the scout report. She has to actually say what her posture was when she does the check, because that lady is a pretzel. She gets into some shapes. I feel like if I did the scout report, I would just be like, yeah, I was hunched over a little bit. It wouldn't be nearly as entertaining. It's been a pretty good day so far. Thankfully, work is calmed down a little bit. It's not quite as crazy as things have been. Oh my god, Jesus. There you go. There we go. Just clean it up a little bit more, right? I feel like it's very, very close, but I'm also just kind of having fun fussing out a few of these little details. Nothing too crazy, right? There we go. Just balance it out a little bit more. I'm gonna just tired getting paperwork done before I call it a night. Ew. Paperwork. That's nasty. Hopefully the paperwork goes quickly at least. There we go. Alright, what else needs polishing? What else needs cleaning up? Can reduce this down a little bit. Go. Oh, we lost a little bit of the window inset along here. So let's bring that back. We actually want that line. That line is deliberate. To be honest, I hate paperwork. It is a rare breed that likes paperwork. Though honestly, I'm not sure how much anybody really likes paperwork. I'm sure there's some people that like the problem solving associated with paperwork, but not necessarily the paperwork itself, right? I feel like you can enjoy some aspect of, like, you know, if you're an accountant or something, sort of figuring out how all the math, all the numbers go together, how the parts fit. But then you have to, you know, document it all and put it, you know, write it down somewhere. I feel like even accountants look at that part and go, bleh. Oh, why am I doing this to myself? Could have just left it alone. Could have said good enough. But no, we gotta be some kind of rotten perfectionist. Whatever. I feel like if we just do it on the first two, it's fine. And then from there, it kind of recedes far enough back that you can't really tell. You just reduce the line on here so it doesn't create confusion about it. I need you to move. Thank you. You're in my way. Okay. Yeah, honestly, the background is looking pretty good. And part of the reason that I'm doing all this and doing all this like draw through behind the character is because I want to use this as a background. I want to have this as a background I can use on stream, and it would be very weird to have my own dumb face behind me while I'm streaming. Oh, okay. So, wow. So, I think what I want to do, I like it. I want to see if I can sort of like pop up a little bit of the brightness coming through the window and get a little bit more like light refraction coming through. I'm not going to do any like reflections on the window because that doesn't really make sense with the lighting and it would just look really weird. Also with the light rays, it would just kind of all wash out and be pointless. But what I'm going to try is we're going to come in here with sort of a nice yellowy, warm color. And we're just going to add some Fresnel rim lighting along here. And just for the sake of argument, if we set it to glow dodge, how does that look? I feel like glow dodge has been getting some nice results in some of our recent drawings, and in some ways I don't like using it a ton. It feels like it's cheating. It's not necessarily, you know, accurate lighting, whatever that means, but he's a great friend. Play Fortnite and Reaper together. Oh, nice. Well, like I said, I'm sorry to disappoint, but I am not a Fortnite master. I'm not a Fortnite player. I have to assume at some point Epic has thought about trying to get Jesus into Fortnite. I feel like that would go over very, very badly if they tried. I like this. I think this color adjustment, this little, you know, Fresnel bit, this little bounce lighting, it's coming through very pretty. I might knock down the intensity of it a little bit, but I do like where it is coming from. I do like the overall direction of it. I'm trying to convert. Okay. It's a little bit too neon, right? Like, it's not bad, and I do really like the colors that we're getting out of it. It's just a little bit too strong for what I'm trying to do. But I think just reducing the opacity will help that. Also, you know, not letting it get too strong in some of these far background elements. A little bit of pop-up is nice. Too much is just distracting. We can do a little bit of this streaking pattern to like introduce a sense of wood grain. We got Jesus in Fortnite before GTA 6. We could finally have Jesus versus Goku. Jesus versus Hatsune Miku. Yeah, I was just watching a YouTube video on Weathering with You, which is it's the middle child of Shit, what's his name? The guy who made Your Name and Suzume. Oh, let me look it up. This is gonna bother me if I don't remember. I love all of these movies. They're really good. And Weathering with You is a good movie. Makoto Shinkai. Really good movie maker. Really love his work. All very good. No notes. Well, that's not 100% true. I have some notes, potentially. But from like an artistic standpoint, nothing I can really say. It's a beautiful, they're all beautiful movies. But with that said, yeah, Weathering with You is like a really good movie. It's just, it's kind of the middle child. It gets really abstract in some places and is just kind of like a little over the top, I suppose. This is a way to think about it, way to put it. But you know, the animation department did not scrimp in the slightest on that movie. They went all out, as they always do, and it is a beautiful piece of work. If you have not watched any of the three movies, Your Name, Weathering with You, or Suzume, all three are 1 bajillion% worth watching. Maybe we should do a movie night. Maybe we could do a couple of movie nights. I was also thinking about maybe doing Dune. Those could be fun. I'm just double checking some Shinkai images just because I feel like the way that they do lighting is a huge inspiration for me, and I'm kind of curious like how much they sort of blow out their edge highlighting and whatnot. I feel it seems to vary, which makes sense. Not every scene is going to be lit the same way. It does seem like if you have like a bright summer or a bright sunny light from outside and then they're inside, like in a train, in a room that doesn't have its own light source, they do seem to introduce a little bit more of the like really bright edge lighting, but they save like the strongest cases of that for like really dramatic instances. So yeah, I think all that to say, you know, what we're doing right now, we're going to keep it pretty conservative, right? We're not going to put a ton of it all over the place and really like flashbang the scene. Just use a little bit to help accentuate some edges and direct some light. I think the other sort of risk that we run in some instances is if we do it too much or sort of overblow it, it could look metallic. And we don't want that, right? So really just sort of helping to create a little bit of visual interest along some of these edges that like wrap around the light. Something like that. And then I'm getting some of it cast across the table. I definitely want the brightest instance of it to be over on the hero table, but we can get a little bit over here just for funsies and flavor, right? I bet this will look really fun once we bring the light rays back in. The way they sort of play off of each other. I bet it'll look really nice. Let's go ahead and draw through there. Good. Yeah, I'll float the idea of a movie night in the Discord to see if people are interested. I don't know that we don't have like the most active community and anything. I would need to figure out how to set all of that up, but it could be fun. Could be a fun activity. I suppose communities aren't, I don't know, sometimes communities form very naturally. Sometimes you have to, you gotta put in the work. You gotta encourage the growth rather than just let it happen on its own. I'm not good about those things. I'm not, I'm sure you guys have noticed, I'm not the most outgoing of people. I am not the most step up and lead type of individual when it comes to social activity and the like. There we go. There we go, that makes a bit more sense. Okay, and then get a little bit of pop right along the top like this, right? And yeah, I'm making so much more work for myself because of course I am. When do I ever not do that? There we go. Let's try and keep it from being excessive, right? Let's get a little bit bouncing along some of these top edges. There we go. Just double checking I didn't miss any. While I was getting lunch today, I heard a car. I think it was a car backfiring, but it reminded me we are only a couple weeks away, at least in the States, the US, from Big Boom Boom Firework Day, which for all the pet owners, I hope everything goes okay. I hope your fuzzy friends, your furry babies, aren't too traumatized by the whole thing. I know how that can be. Nice. Come on, thank you, autosave. You always freak me out a little bit when you do your job. Yeah. I'm just gonna kind of prop up our hero chair and our hero table, right? So it's gonna get a little bit extra of this whole shebang-a-lang. There you go. I will say, Fortnite had the opportunity with the Star Wars collab to add an X-Wing versus TIE Fighter mode, and that would have been very compelling. I don't know that it would have been an absolute yes, but I probably would have considered it more than I ever had in the past. I mean, I wouldn't have played the rest of the game, but I might have been interested in just that one. But they didn't. It almost looks like it's made of copper. don't know. I like that. I think that adds a nice little bit of flair, a little bit of interest, right? And just maybe add a little bit of refraction off the edge of the glass here. Kind of break it up, make it really subtle. There you go. Suddenly want to move is because I have a new neighbor who built on top of the stone and iron near my house. What an asshole! I haven't used it yet, but I believe there is a tool. There's a thing that you can build that basically lets you copy paste your base to another location. I know there's like a mission, pseudo mission for doing that. I haven't messed with it at all, but might be worth looking into. Yeah, I've thought a little bit about relocating, but I like where I'm at. I'm right next to the trade port. You know, I have good access to iron and water. Can get over to the rift pretty easily. Getting out west is harder. I do hate that. And there was one guy I saw who built a base and built an arch, built a bridge connecting the two parts of his base so that the path out of the valley was still open to everyone. And I thought that was very cool. I thought that was very considerate of them to not block the flow of traffic with their base. I did see another one, Mage, which reminded me of your warning that they had built, like it was their base, and then they had built a door on either side of a tunnel. And like, it kind of looked like it was just so that they could access the building from either side, but it also looked like, yeah, that's a trap. It looked like something that was kind of built to you try and just drive through it and then it stops you. I was like, Mage warned me about this. So I did not go in. Luckily, I can get around that base. And, you know, I mean, you saw where mine is. It's just up on a little small cliff. Small rise, so it's not in anybody's way. Which, yeah, it was never my intention to block people off from anything. Also, the server population went up pretty dramatically from when I started, right? You know, Coco and Boru and their crew picked that one, and then at the time it was a low population server, and then within like a week it was a medium high pop. We'll see what the sort of long-term populations and health are like. See how much people sort of stick around. The cliff sides are cool. I've seen some really creative ideas people have come up with for their base designs. Gotta get an ornithopter before we go cliffside though. We don't wanna completely start scaling the cliffs and then be like, how do I get down? I mean, yeah, I guess you could use your dispenser, but that's a pain in the butt. Nobody wants to do that. There we go. I'm just gonna add a little bit right along here. Good. Yeah, I feel like that just adds a little bit of like shininess to the image overall without it like blowing out in a really unappealing way, right? And if we drop it to like 60%, it doesn't like draw too much attention. I like that. That feels good. Okay. So what is missing now? What do we still need to do? There's always something, right? There's always something that still needs doing. Something that needs correcting, something that needs adjusting, tweaking, balancing, fussing. Probably gonna grab a snack after the stream. I feel like I'm gonna be a little hungry. It's probably fine. Go. I'm a little excited. So, Star Citizen dropped their new patch, and I haven't gone into it yet. For the most part, it sounds like it's an okay patch. There's some neat new stuff that they've added. They added a new like sandbox activity, which sounds okay. It's very group oriented, which I'm not complaining about that. I think so. One thing I will say, yeah, I think the state of the game does need more group content. I think a lot of what has been introduced up to this point doesn't really incentivize group gameplay. It's like, if you've got friends, you can do this with people, but there's not really a feeling of like, oh yeah, this really requires cooperation and teamwork. So yeah, I don't really mind them adding more group focused gameplay. I don't have a group to play with at the moment, so it kind of locks me out, but I think it's healthier for the game for them to introduce more of it, so I don't take it personally or anything. But yeah, I don't know. I've been mostly playing Dune and working on art, so I haven't really felt super incentivized to jump into the patch or anything. The next one, though, is gonna have an event mission that's very like high hauling and resource collection oriented. It's not gonna be combat focused. Like all of the combat is gonna be kind of incidental or optional. So that one looks pretty fun, and I'm looking forward to them getting that finished and trying that out, because I think that could be very cool. They did start adding weather effects. So like there's been weather in the game up to this point, but it's all been sort of just like randomized. And now they're actually introducing like, you know, if you pass under this cloud, it'll start raining. And once you get out from under the cloud, the rain stops. Right? There's volumetric weather. So, I don't know. It is nice to see things feel like they're really developing. 19 days worth of lubricant. Hey. Look, I won't judge. You gotta do what makes sense for yourself. There you go. Those at 10% riser halfway open. Please plug in your Sonic to ensure proper charging. Ooh, the aluminum cutter. Is that that's the Mark III, right? The big two-handed one? Is that the one I have? Yeah. Yeah, I might try and scout a region tonight to see if I can find it. God, it's not to the north. I don't think it's going to be out towards the shield wall. I feel like it's going to be out west. What was really going to make me shit is if it's in the radioactive zone. Because then you need a radiation suit just to go aluminum mining, and that will suck. They were a pain to find. Yeah. Yeah, a few of the like bases and shit in the rift have them. I feel like that's the only place that I've found them in abundance. I know it's a little late, but one of the things that helped me out, I think I mentioned, was the The science station, a little bit east of where you are, is like the scavengers or whatever turned it into a vehicle scrapyard. So a fair amount of the loot out of there is vehicle parts. And that actually saved me a fair amount when I was making my buggy, that I just got a few buggy pieces from that, you know, pre-built. Damaged, obviously, but I didn't have to craft them. They're only in the rift. Of course they are. Yeah, I feel like where I'm at is fairly popular just because it's so centralized. It's like a, you know, reasonable distance to so many resources. And then some of the more complicated stuff, if you're up to that level, it's like, well, you have an ornithopter, so getting around longer distances isn't a problem. Oh no, I totally get it. Nothing wrong with that, I'm just saying. I think especially for the first buggy, the first vehicle, using scavenge parts saves you a lot of crafting, and then once you have it unlocked, yeah, you can, you know, use it to find stuff easier. I want to try something really quickly just to see what it looks like, see what it feels like. I think this is going to be too much, but... yeah, I was just kind of curious what it would look like if we broke this up a little bit with some dusting. Dusting makes me feel good. That's kind of neat. You know what? I'll keep it. I like that. Do go to the spot and scrap the buggy parts for the capacitors. Yeah, that makes sense. There we go. Yeah, and I think for me, I'm kind of... I think part of it is being a bit of a hoarder. And part of it is just not rushing it a ton, right? Like I'm not, you know, picking a thing and just kind of going for it. You know, running full bore to complete a crafting or whatever. So, you know, I'll set an objective and kind of be like, all right, I'm going to go over here and do this. And then along the way, I'll grab some resources. I'll maybe raid a base. You know, have little side quests along the way. So, you know, I've definitely hit bottlenecks on particular resources, but I've never been like super you know, I've never been like scrounging up the smallest amount of whatever I need to complete something. At this point, I have, I don't know how much iron and steel just kind of sitting around waiting. There are some stuff like the wind traps. They're just like, your steel? My steel. I guess it kind of makes sense just because base components, base items have a very different like wear down process than equipment, right? Like if you don't manage your base correctly, if they get damaged by sandstorms and whatnot, that'll cause them to take damage and eventually break down. But that really feels more like a penalty for people that are not, you know, logging in and keeping their bases alive anymore than something that is going to like actively hamstring you while you're playing the game. So it kind of makes sense that base components cost more, not to mention them just being so much bigger. Because once you have it, you're going to have it for a very, very long time, right? It's a different dynamic than, you know, your scanner or your leader John or whatever. There's like, you have it and, you know, you don't necessarily have it forever. It actively wears down much faster. I think that's about it. I think the background is really about done. God damn it. This shouldn't be here. This should be right here. I honestly thought this was going to take us the 2 weeks. I thought we were going to need like every stream of these 2 weeks to finish this. But I feel like we're getting really close, which is neat. At some point I want to get back onto doing the VTuber fan art. There were a few that I say a few. I feel like we got maybe halfway, maybe a little bit more than halfway through all the various individuals I wanted to make art for. So I definitely want to revisit that sooner than later, I suppose. But there's a couple other things that I would like to work on as well. So, I don't know. We'll probably do sort of a mix and match, right? Kind of go back and forth between different projects. And of course, getting back into the game dev stuff as well. Well, draw our attentions elsewhere. So it'll be a mix. It'll be a lot of different things that we'll be looking at doing over the coming weeks. One of the things I would really like to do is design a D&D character. Like visually design one. You know, we might... What I'm thinking I'll do is sort of like go to a generator, a character generator, you know, and be, you know, have it spit out a few different race class combinations, and then have you guys decide which one sounds really interesting, and then we would sort of go through the process of figuring out, like, what do we want to do, like, how are we gonna visually design this character, what's going to be interesting visual language for them, you know, what sort of equipment are they going to have, what does that look like, those sorts of questions. I feel like that would be a really fun project to do. It could be fun. I hope it would. Maybe I'm out. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm out of touch. Maybe it'll be boring as food. But I figure it's worth a shot. I feel like a lot of times, especially since this, you know, typically the part of D&D that I actually get around to doing, the character creation, sort of coming up with characters and their stories and their personalities, is like a big part of D&D that I enjoy. Pretty sure this is already straight up white. Yeah, it's not really gonna get any brighter than that. I'm playing D, but I like to story ideas. That's okay, I don't play D&D either. I would like to. I just never get around to it. I don't have the people for it. Good morning, Jack. I hope you're having a good week. Welcome in. Good to see ya. And good work, Mage. Stay hydrated. I hope you get some very good rest, and I hope you have a very good rest of your week. Everyone say goodnight. And everyone say good morning to Mage. How you doing? How's it going? We're getting close with this drawing. Close. But, you know, that's not a bad thing. I feel like we're at a point where we can just have a lot of fun with it, really mess with stuff, add little nitpicky details, and really make it sing, which is always a fun spot to be in. There we go. There we go. There we go. Alright. That's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good, I reckon. Just kind of soften this up a little bit. So it feels more volumetric and less line based. And kind of shade in the underside of the neck here. Ooh, that was weird. Excuse me. Be better. Your internet provided maintenance yesterday, and now the internet speed is a 10th. Well, what the fuck is that? Drag their dumbasses back down here and you make them fix it. Maintenance. I'm sorry, Jack. That fucking sucks. They better get it back. There we go. Okay, I'm not going to worry about this too much because we have this connection there, which I'm actually going to put down here. Oh no, I'm not. Never mind. Because yeah, what this is for is all of our bounce lighting, or cast shadows and such. Sort of cleaning up the seam line between the character and the seat and the table. Ensure that it looks nice and good. It's a very first world thing, I'm aware, but I don't know, it feels to me like the internet is such a constant and such an expected thing that people are going to have access to and interact with, It feels more like a utility to me than a service. And it's kind of weird to me that it isn't treated that way. I feel like it needs to be. Okay, that looks pretty good. And that looks pretty bad. Let's see if we can come in with a cleanup on the alpha and just improve it a little bit without too much mussing or fussing. A little bit right there. There we go. There we go. I think the drink's looking pretty good. It's going to be a really needed service. Doctor's offices and mayors assume you have internet, not at 10%. Right? Well, in so many places, like, just being able to pay for things, you know, doctor's offices, food. It's like a lot of places will still take cash, but I don't know, it feels like it's becoming, I would say, less frequent. It's definitely a lot more convenient to use. What's the word? Use internet. Networked options. Yeah, it's not just for, as you point out, Standing, it's not just for, you know, oh, like, I want to be able to check my YouTube whenever I want, or I want to be able to watch a stream or whenever I want. There are a lot of services that require networking. You know, let us not forget the great CrowdStrike crash of, what was it, 23? Was that really 2 years ago? I guess it was. Where, you know, CrowdStrike was down for like a day. And it was a disaster. Like, planes had trouble, air traffic had trouble, hospitals had trouble. Like, it was seriously dangerous. Yeah, that was not the internet service. That was just sort of a security intermediary. So I don't know. I feel like there does need to be something more. Just adding a little bit of brightness and variation to the tea. This is why you use the coaster chat. Thank you, Anasif. Did I forget? Did I forget the detail again? Yeah, I did. How do I forget my own face? How do I forget important things about my own face? How do I do this to myself? Yeah, I noticed because the fingers are missing their striping. I was like, I don't think I did the one on the face. There's only one. But it's also the most important one. It's kind of the brand. I really need to schedule appointments. I've been meaning to do it for a long time and I just kind of keep putting it off. I'm busy with this, that, and the other. I just need to do it. But it's hard. There we go. And the same deal over here. There we go. What is this down here? You know what? Let's just deal with it in the connection. It's gonna be easier than trying to figure out the exact layering and however it got set up that way. This is better. I think what we might do, so we're definitely gonna have it done on Thursday. I'm really getting down to a point where I'm just kind of nitpicking stuff for the fun of it, rather than because I feel like it really needs that extra, you know, time and attention. Which again, not a bad place to be, right? Hardly complaining about that. So I'm not sure what we'll do on Thursday. I don't think we'll need the entire time. We might take a break, or not take a break. We might jump into the next art piece. Hey, Keplu. Happy Choomsday. Hope you're having a good week so far. How you doing? So we might jump into the next one and just try to get started with that right away. Oh no, obsessed stummy wummy. Hopefully it passes quickly. Hopefully you feel better. That's no fun though, I'm sorry. What the fuck are you? Okay. Yeah, I see. Okay, yeah, there we go. That's a bit better. You know, someone mentioned Soul Blade. Or Soul Frame? Is it Soul Frame or Soul Blade? Digital Extreme's next project that they've been working on. I haven't heard anything about that in a long time. And I was like, oh yeah, is that out yet? Well, hopefully it calms down soon and you can get some sleep. Is it Soul Frame? Soul Frame. Okay, so yeah, Warframe and Soul Frame. I couldn't remember if it was Soul Blade or not. But yeah, I don't think they have any planned release date for it yet. Too many peppers? It could be too many peppers. It could be too much milk. Stomach bug. Oh no. There we go. Can I convince you to make these fingers a little bit longer? I feel like that just helps the overlap a little bit. There we go. There we go. Finkies. Freaking hands, man. Not as bad as feet, but still annoying. Still a lot. There we go. Drawing feet makes me want to hug my dog. It's a good way to put it. A good way to put it. Like, they're not as complicated as hands are, but just the planar orientation, connecting them to the floor, getting the right shape of everything. The shapes are so bizarre and they overlap in such weird ways. I don't know. I find feet worse than hands. Also, it's just a lot easier to get reference of hands. I feel like feet, you can't really just like look at your feet and be like, oh, okay, that. The same way you can with your hands. The heck? Why was it that color? I must have caught like a pixel right on the edge. This is front-facing perspective. Yeah. I think back profile is a little bit worse than front. Just because you kind of wind up with just the heel and not much else. Like maybe a little bit of the ball of the foot peeking out from behind it, but it ends up making the foot look very like stubby. It's just kind of this weird stump on the end of the leg. But I do agree that the straight on front or back profiles are the worst ones. At least with the front profile, you have the toes to work with, right? It's some sort of landmark, some sort of detail that you can use to add some definition. There we go. Oh, Dead Sun Prime. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, Raiders. Fruity, Temporal, welcome, welcome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. For those of you who are new, my name is Chisei Kaiga. I'm a Jupiter Brain Cell VTuber. I crashed on Earth and now I'm just chilling with the Chooms and making art and playing games and having a good time of it all. Thank you so much for the raid. How are you guys doing? Let me give you a quick shout out here. What were you up to? What was your stream? Oh, no worries. Yes, if you or your raiders need to raid and run, need to clean up, get something to eat or drink or rest, whatever you guys gotta do, please feel free to. If you wish to stick around, we're gonna be going for just a little bit longer, but I really do appreciate it. Yes, we dropped that conversation right on time. They're playing Fortnite. Nice. Did you win any rounds? I know you gotta go. I know you gotta go. If you gotta head out, no worries about it. But I hope the games went well and I hope you had a really good stream. Thank you again. That's very kind of you. Why is my chat stuck? Pete talk. No. We were talking about the difficulties of drawing feet. That was all. Oh, nice. Congratulations. Hard fought, hard won. Well, I'm glad you had a good stream. I'm glad you got some wins under your belt. And yeah, if you gotta head out, I hope you have a very good rest of your evening. And thank you again. If you guys do want to stick around, you are welcome to. We are gonna wrap up in just a few minutes, unfortunately, but you're welcome to stick around if you so wish. Thank you. Yeah, I'm partly a new background for the stream, partly a Pride Month art piece that we're working on. Oh, thank you. And then we have an element that's turned off right now just because it's easier to paint without it. But where did they go? Yes, we got that, and then we got our light rays that are gonna really sort of pop the whole thing. And then we've got our Pride time. There it is.
You're watching this video sitting down. I'm gonna need you to fix your fucking posture, you croissant-looking letter C, crescent moon ass, scoliosis motherfucker. Fix your spine!
Everybody's struts! Where's number 1? Or no, number 8? Let's go ahead and bump this one up just because I feel like it's kind of getting lost. There we go, that's a bit better. Maybe pull it out just a little bit. Yeah. There we go. Stop. It is true. I do art and I will not attest to any of the other things. There we go. Yeah, I'll do. So yeah, I've got all the rays and coloring off for now just because it's easier to work with, but that is going to be the finalized version of it, so to speak. You're good at Fortnite. Right? Going around the internet, just throwing all kinds of misinformation willy-nilly. What's one to do with that? Let's see. Yeah, I think we're just about done. I don't want to call it 100% just yet. I feel like I want to come back to it on Thursday with fresh eyes and kind of see what we're working with, right? See if there's anything that we kind of want to go, oh yeah, one more thing right there. But yeah, I think it's looking really good. I think we're very, very close to being done. Aww. Hades to end the night. No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, unfortunately, we do need to wrap it up. And just a little bit extra chin right through here. Just pull that shape out a little bit more. Was maybe a bit too much. There we go. Fortnite to end the night. No. Yep, we are getting into one more thing territory, for sure. But we are gonna save one more thing for next time. We're gonna save it for Thursday, just so that we're not kind of pressuring anything or rushing it, right? I'm gonna take our time with it, make sure that we're doing well. And yeah, maybe we'll play a round of Hades on Thursday if there's time. We might play a little bit more Doom. We'll see. We'll see kind of what we feel like doing. I would be very surprised if this ends up taking a substantial amount of the stream. Probably a little bit, right? We'll make sure that we get everything its proper love and attention, but well, thank you. Yes, it's always nice to make new tunes. But I think we are right about there. We're very close with this one. So yeah, just a little bit more polish time on Thursday to see it done. There we go. Alright. Why don't we go ahead and call it there? I know we just had some raiders come in, and I'm sorry, but it is getting late, and I do have to be a responsible adult tomorrow and work. So we do have to call it. Oh, thank you, Nightbot. I was just about to shout out the Discord. We do have a Discord if you guys want to join. We got memes and art and animal pictures, and you guys can all post the schedule there and go live notifications and all that. So if you guys would like to join, I'd be happy to have you. Stream into the night in the light of another day. Don't tempt me. If I did not have a job, I would definitely consider it. All right. Let's go ahead though and wrap it up. We gotta find somebody that we can raid. We gotta find a raid target. Who are we gonna go say hello to? Let's see if Asani's playing Fall Fantasy. Oh, Boru's on. Is Faye still going? I saw Faye was streaming earlier. I was thinking about raiding into her, but it looks like she's wrapped up, unfortunately. Then why are you saying to keep streaming about? Oh, it looks like Floof is still working on a model. Bellin is working on some commissions. Oh, the big commission, that's right. All right, well, thank you, Knight. Thank you for hanging out. Hope you get some very good rest, and I hope you have a very good rest of your week. Let's see. Who do we want to go say hello to? Do we say hello to Bella? Do we say hello to Eve? We might go chill with Bellin for a while. Or we might go chill with Boru. Boru's playing some Hunt. When's the last time I raided Boru? Ba-ba-ba. One time. Alright, let me just check these two. We'll see who we're gonna say hello to. Okay, so both of them one time in the past month. Sorry, I have choice paralysis. I bought a bunch of choices! No! Oh, I'm gonna shut down the YouTube VOD in the meantime. Everybody say bye, YouTube.